Prieta chapter. The Loma Prieta chapter service area encompasses San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, and San Benito County. We have around 15,000 members and around 30,000 supporters. So we have a lot of folks that are helping us work on environmental types of things. Tonight, we're going to hear from Merica Kraus to talk about community aggregators, choice aggregators, and San Jose Clean Energy. So Merica, please take it away.
Great. Thank you, Lisa, so much for having me and everyone for joining. Let me just get the presentation started here. In present mode, of course. Let's see. There we go.
Oh, yes. The three dots.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Yes, my name is Merica Kraus. I am the Marketing Communications Manager at San Jose Clean Energy. I know we've just chatted a little bit, so I've learned a little bit about the folks in the audience. I'll just tell you, I'm actually fairly new to clean energy. I had not myself heard about San Jose Clean Energy until I had saw the position and applied. I'm actually a former journalist. I worked for NBC Bay Area for a number of years, and then went and worked at Santa Clara University, and then the Tech Museum of Innovation, they're now called the Tech Interactive. They have an exhibit about climate change called Solve for Earth, and learning about that really made me want to be part of the solution in a systemic way. And that's exactly what San Jose Clean Energy is doing. If you live in San Jose, you're probably a customer. This year, we're celebrating 5 years of service. We launched in 2019. We have over 350,000 accounts and serve nearly 1 million people and businesses in San Jose. This is a celebration we had just on Thursday. We gave some awards to some of the folks who helped us get started. Organizations like Mothers Out Front, you might have heard of them, San Jose Community Energy Advocates, and the Climate Center. We also have several community partners that have helped us, ICANN and Meta, helping us reach Vietnamese-speaking language communities and Spanish-speaking communities. And then we honored youth as well. This group right here is Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action. There's 4 students. I think Rebecca mentioned earlier, Lynbrook High School, 2 of the students here were students there. And this is our director, Lori Mitchell. She's our fearless leader. She's got decades of experience in clean energy and solar. She worked for the utility up in San Francisco first, and then was employee number 1 for us when we started at San Jose Clean Energy. So what I love about our organization is we really are community focused, in addition to being a systemic solution to climate change and helping us reach some really important carbon-free goals. So who are we? We are actually a department of the city of San Jose. We are the energy department. So we're a not-for-profit local clean energy provider. Again, we offer clean energy options to 350,000 accounts. 75,000 of those accounts are low income. We have about 45 full-time staff members, and we are still growing. There's really a lot to be done in electrification and buying all the power that San Jose needs. So we are a community choice aggregator. So what is a community choice aggregator? Community choice aggregators allow communities to have more choice and transparency over their electricity options. They're all local and not for profits. They're community run. San Jose is actually the largest single jurisdiction. So we're just specifically for San Jose Clean Energy, but some of you who live outside city limits may be customers of AVA in the East Bay. Silicon Valley Clean Energy is most of the rest of Santa Clara County and so on. There are 25 CCAs in California with 11 million customers in 200 plus cities and counties. And I'll add that it really started in, actually this might be the next slide. Oh no, 2002, Assembly Bill 17 was signed into law, and that allowed community choice aggregators to start sort of a alternate choice for more renewable energy. So what we do is we're an electric generator, and I'll go over that in just a minute, and we still work with the independently owned utilities. For us in the Bay Area, that's PG&E, to deliver the power. But Yes, San Jose City Council voted to establish us in 2017. That's what really when we got started. And then in 2019 is when we launched service. So how it works. So we source clean energy for the city of San Jose. Cleaner energy. We're not quite at 100%. We're working towards that goal. And then that energy gets put on the grid. So when we say clean energy, we mean wind, solar, geothermal, um, hydroelectric power that gets put onto the grid, and then it is delivered still by PG&E. So PG&E owns all of the transmission lines. They maintain the lines, they serve the customers on that side of it, and then the energy is delivered to you in your home. So the benefits of San Jose Clean Energy, we are more renewable, 60% right now versus right now PG&E is at about 48% renewable with their mix. We offer competitive rates and customer choice. Customers can opt out at any time. But one of kind of the beneficial things about San Jose Clean Energy that allowed us to get off the ground so quickly and be able to serve so many folks is everyone in our territory is automatically opted in, and then they can opt out if they'd like to, but we are the cheapest rate for electric generation. Again, local control and transparency, so we can really decide, how we're going to invest, where we're going to invest in renewable energy, and create programs, community programs. And I'll go into that in a little more depth in a moment, but that really is kind of the sweet spot for us is not only are we helping create more renewable energy and, bettering our communities to be a little more healthy and sustainable in that way. But we also have community programs that are really pushing electrification and for us, equity. It's a really important part of what we do. So here's just a quick bill comparison. So we do show up as a charge on your PG&E bill. It is not an extra charge. That I think is one of the biggest misconceptions is people see this charge and think, oh, I'm paying extra for clean energy. No, we actually replaced a charge that was on your PG&E bill. But here are some of the mixes of power we have. Green source, that's what everyone's standard mix. It's 60% renewable. You can see kind of here what an average cost. This is just an example based on monthly residential use. We also offer a program called SJ Cares, and that gives folks a 10% discount on top of how we're already discounted from PG&E. Right now, the average home is saving about 8%. Average residential customer compared to what PG&E is charging for your electric generation. SJ Cares offers another 10% on top of that, reducing that bill even further for folks that qualify for a program called CareFera, really our low income folks. We really care a lot about, making sure everyone can keep their power on, and that we're not, it's something called energy burden, that we're, making sure that power is accessible and equitable. A lot of folks opt up to Total Green, which is our 100% renewable energy mix. For the most residential homes, it's about the cost of a cup of coffee a month, $4 a month. And that's really a great way for us to be able to provide a more renewable mix. It just means we can invest more in some of the renewable energy. And then this just shows PG&E is at about a 48% renewable rate right now. And you can see it's a little bit cheaper between Total Green and PG&E if you were to opt up to Total Green, and then you're saving about almost $5 between Green Source and PG&E. So where do we get our power? Since 2019, San Jose Clean Energy is contracted for over 700 megawatts of new and renewable energy sources. That first picture that Lisa pointed out was wind in New Mexico. It's a program that went online. We also developed a really innovative program in Kern County. It's a fixed delivery from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. It means we have a steady stream of solar energy coming, and that we're feeding into the grid. And then we're also working on some mixes of solar and battery storage as well. So up to 45 megawatts of long duration storage and up to 34 megawatts of geothermal are also through joint projects. That's the other great part about being part of this wide network of CCAs, Community Choice Aggregators, is we team up together to get some of these renewable projects built. Any questions so far?
Merrick, I think this is fascinating. It's
Yeah.
just amazing. What I wonder about, why doesn't PG&E just do all renewable?
Great question. I mean, you'd have to ask PG&E. Um, I think, and you don't quote me on this, I know it's being recorded, but I do think CCAs are pushing them to get more renewable. They are beholden to stockholders. And we really are beholden to our community. And so we're not required to show a profit we like to show a profit, but really our profit is more into savings for our community, or community programs that I'll talk about in a moment. So, I mean, I think that plays a role in it, but I do think having the competition, for lack of a better term, um, has helped push them to get more and more renewable for sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. So community programs are really important to us. Equity is a really big piece, especially San Jose Clean Energy, I mentioned, is the largest single jurisdiction CCA. We have a very large urban population. I think there are a lot of CCAs. The first CCA that got started was in Marin County. And other places are just a little more, I don't know, suburban. And we really have a lot of different stakeholders to be accountable to, and ways that we populations that we consider priority communities that we want to make sure are not left behind on the road to a clean energy future. So here is just an example of some of the program history and areas that we cover. Vehicle electrification. Actually, we just won, I'm proud to tell you guys, hot off the presses, Cal CCA, the state organization, we just won an award for some of our EV education work. And that included, excuse me one second. Apologies. And that included some community dinners we held in different languages, to just talk about EVs. That included some EV ride and drives, which are, I don't know if any of you have heard of a ride and drive, but it's just a low, no pressure, no sales environment to really test out and get comfortable with an EV. I think there's a myth that EVs are unattainable and only for folks who have, quite a bit of money. And the truth is, like, they're getting more and more affordable as the technology evolves, and as used EVs come on the market. So a lot of CCAs do a lot of work, including us, in helping people get access to that. I'll also add that we participate in a program called Cal EVIP, and we've installed over 150 EV chargers across the city. 40% of those are in priority or low income communities. Again, just making sure that it's not only some of the wealthier districts that have access to EV charging. So yeah, I'm really proud to work for an organization that cares about that. We're also working on building electrification, distributed energy resources, and energy efficiency. We offer a energy efficient business program where people can get up to 90% off of new HVAC systems, even little things like sealing. The Lee's Kitchen, we've worked with it to help them seal their refrigerator doors, and that saves a lot of energy over the course of a year. Developing program-specific rates like SJ Cares, giving SJ Cares a larger discount. And then resiliency. We're working on quite a few different programs. We have something called Peak Rewards. I don't know if you guys have heard of a demand response program before, but it's basically we pay. This year we launched it as a pilot where we paid large companies, some of our largest users of energy, to use less energy during peak events is what they're called. So usually those are in the summer when people are running the AC. Early, and it's typically kind of early in the evening. So we worked to kind of create some custom plans for folks to help, and we give them a lower rate on energy if they also cut their energy use at those times. And so that will also likely roll out into a residential program this year. So that's pretty exciting to hear about. So you guys should hear more of that. I don't know if you've heard of Ohm Connect, but it'll be something kind of similar to that program. So yes, we improving equity and affordability underpin all of these areas. We're investing half of our program incentive funds in those priority communities that we just spoke about. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about Climate Smart San Jose. I am by no means an expert on the policy, but it really is a citywide effort. San Jose really kind of threw down the gauntlet in 2021 and said we want to be carbon neutral by 2030. Here's a bunch of different ways we're going to do that. And one of them, like San Jose Clean Energy, is really helping. We are on track to reach that goal, which is exciting. By 2027, we should be at 75%. Renewable energy, and then by 2030 we will be at 100% carbon neutrality. So that's a very exciting thing for us. What else here? Again, we're also just part of this is incentivizing our residents and businesses to be energy efficient. So our current programs, I went over a few of these, but Cal EVIP, that's putting in chargers. Then we've also got some fast charging hubs pilots coming up soon, just trying to test out, how quickly can we get more EV chargers out there? We've got an EV shopping tool. You guys can look for that in April, probably towards the end of April, that really will just help people find EVs at an affordable rate. Again, we're continuing our EV education with ride and drives, also just our social media content. Quite a few things. We are also doing electric cooking health education. We started an induction cooking campaign this year. I was proud to be a part of. We do a hot sauce giveaway, and we call it Flameless Flavor. We did a really cool event with our county partners, Bay Run, with Chef 2 David Fu. If you might know him from Top Chef or Master Chef. But we did an event. He himself is Vietnamese, and it was translated into Vietnamese in the Vietnamese community over in East San Jose. And it was just a lovely event, and it was really fun to see. We've built a good community. We've built a good relationship with some of our community partners there, and they kept breaking from Vietnamese to be like, San Jose, tell them about, this discount. And so I'm really proud that we're building those relationships. But you guys will see more about electric cooking coming up this year. Solar Access is a program that gives people discounted lower income residents discounts to 100% solar access. So basically we're buying solar power on their behalf, even if they can't themselves afford solar panels. And then they get a discount on that rate. We talked a little about peak rewards, then the energy efficiency program, SJ Cares. Oh, and then this year we're doing a really, we recognize the cost of energy, and just the cost of living right now is really hard, really high for a lot of folks. So we launched a pilot. We're launching a pilot this year in conjunction with some community partners to give people up to $1,600 in debt relief off their electricity bill. So, one of the last things that people really can afford before they're evicted is their electric bill, and just letting it roll, and getting disconnected. And so we're really trying to stop that before it happens and get people assistance before they're out on the street. So you'll be hearing more about that. It's a pretty small pilot. There's only about 100 customers in it coming up. But if it's successful in helping especially stop homelessness, you might hear more, which is great. And then we're working with Public Works to identify some critical city facilities. That's fire stations and community centers and libraries that at times when you need a warming center because of a storm, or a cooling center, we're investing in some solar storage. We're identifying places that could have solar and storage on site, their own kind of microgrid that will make sure that we can continue to serve our community, especially in times of disaster. So total budget so far for that is we've invested about 38.5 million into our community, and then we'll be adding more to that in the next 3 to 10 years. And we do want to add some of this funding is really us taking state funding, CPUC funding, and just making sure that we're getting some of that here in San Jose. EV electrification. So we've established about $14 million for public chargers. At least 40% of those, like I mentioned, are in low-income communities. We also have a fast charger hub pilot we're working on with low EV for places that have low EV adoption. Our goal really is to increase EV adoption. Again, equitable outreach, workshops, ride and drives, one-on-one financial assistance as well, and one-on-one, like the workshops, really just like like EV 101 and EV 102 to get people comfortable with what electric vehicles are like. And we're managing additional demand and incentivizing midday charging, which is another big thing. We really want people powering up during the day when there's lots of solar and sun power on the grid, as opposed to at night, folks want to go in at home and plug in their chargers. It's really better for everyone if
Yeah,
folks can do that. So, oh, go ahead.
I was just thinking this is a significant challenge because people really want to come home and plug in their car.
Yeah, I mean it's convenient for sure. But so we're looking at, can we incentivize by charging a different rate during the day for folks with EV charging, or just making sure that there are places where people, where they work down, if there's bigger hubs like downtown, that they can access EV charging when they need to.
I'm just
So
curious what standard connector you're using. Is that the North American
oh,
standard?
good. I don't know the answer to that
Okay, all right.
question. I know there's two, it's like L2, and there's two fast chargers that
Yeah, okay.
we're
I'm just
working with.
curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering if you could speak about hybrids. It seems like as a society, we jumped over hybrids and went straight to EV. Is that because they're so much better, or is it some kind of choice? Do you have any information on that?
Oh, that would be, I do not, I wish my coworker said I was here because she's really leading our EV electrification.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, it's an uphill battle, I think, to win. Americans love our cars and we love our gas. I'm maybe not this group, which I'm grateful for, but even I have friends. I'll just tell you a personal story. I had a girls' trip with a friend who lives in Texas, and I'm from Colorado, my friend from Colorado, my friend from Colorado. Well, the one that lives in Texas like works for gas. So she's like, I could never get an EV. They would laugh me, like they'd laugh in my face. There's no way I'm getting, like, it's just, that's the standard there. And then my friend from Colorado, she says, I barely fill up my car, you know, because I'm just going to pick up the kids and going home pretty much. She works from home. And she's got a hybrid and she loves it and says it's easy to plug in. So, I mean, that's a great question. I think there are also some questions to answer about like the batteries and the effect on the environment the batteries have. But the IRA, if you guys haven't looked into the now I'm gonna blank on what it stands for. Anyway,
Inflation Reduction Act.
Biden's,
Inflation
what
Reduction
was it?
Act.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Really
welcome.
is kind of laying the groundwork for electrification, and that can include hybrids as well. But really for us to lead the way there.
I think
But
for
that's
a
an
lot of
excellent
people,
question, Rebecca, and I can try to follow up on that. Go ahead,
yeah,
Lisa.
I'll just give you my opinion. For a lot of people, a plug-in hybrid is an ideal vehicle because you can do a lot of your in-town driving, gasoline free. And if you're in a
Yeah.
family that can only afford one car, you kind of have your long distance vehicle and your in-town vehicle in one solution.
Well, and
Yep.
it takes away the anxiety of jumping to the EV with, not having experience with it and charging and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a term, it's called range anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly it. I think it is getting better, the range and the at least the education about EVs. But again, that's why we're also trying to get chargers put in so that people can fear that just a little bit less. But that is something that came up with my group of girlfriends, is they were like, what? We've heard people have had to like abandon their cars in Reno. And I'm like, when is the last time you guys actually drove? You've never driven to come see me in California. I don't know about this, but
Well, I will also tell you that battery technology is advancing very quickly.
yep,
And I think
that is also true.
within 5 years, there's going to be a 1,000-mile battery that can charge in 20 minutes. Within 5 years, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's already
I,
being experimented with.
our education really is also not, hey, abandon your gas vehicle. It doesn't make sense for you to abandon a car that's still working. Like, that goes against sustainability for sure. We really are pushing, like, when you are ready, please consider electric. And I'll say that I've had a few coworkers buy an electric car, and they say they can smell, like, they don't realize how bad gas smells. Like you can actually smell, like, it makes them sick now. They don't have to
Really?
be around it. Yes, like two of them have mentioned this in separate conversations, which is just kind of surprised. Like, you don't realize the health effects of breathing that in until,
Wow.
anyway, there.
Cool.
But
Like quitting
um
smoking.
yeah. So moving on, the home appliance saving program. So we help residents replace old appliances too. We want folks to do energy efficient appliances. So we do offer some 50 to 70% discounts on energy efficient appliances and free smart thermostats. Again, eligibility criteria applies. And to be honest, some of these are like location based to your zip code or your neighborhood, and a lot of them are meant for folks who wouldn't normally be able to access or pay for new appliances. Yeah, customers citywide with income 200 to 400% federal poverty guidelines, which is about 110K a year for a family of four. We have the energy efficiency business program, 30 to 90% rebate on HVAC, refrigeration, water heating upgrades. Small and medium businesses are encouraged, and schools are encouraged to apply. I spoke to, there's a bar class, La Bar, on the Alameda. Their owner took advantage of this program and says, you know, it kind of helps save her business in that she's in an old building which had terrible HVAC. It was getting to the point where it was just too hot to have classes inside. She ended up getting her HVAC replaced with a significant rebate, and it really helped her business. So that was really great story for us to hear. I mentioned solar access. People get 20% discount on 100% solar, and it's for folks that don't have rooftop solar. So a lot of residents, a lot of renters. It can be combined with other discounts. So it's folks that apply for CareFera, which is a state discount, and then this SJ Cares discount. So they're getting 55% off of their bill, $32 per month.
Can I ask a quick question about SJ Cares?
Yes,
So
please.
I know some folks who are not doing so well economically. Would they, I mean, these folks make about 20,000 a year,
Oh, yeah.
and they're single people, and they live and they pay PG&E bills. Would they qualify for SJ Cares?
Yes. So what's great about SJ Cares, they would, but first they need to get qualified for, or they need to apply for CareFera, and then we automatically give every SJ Cares CareFera customer automatically gets the SJ Cares discount. So there's no additional work on their part. So they just need to call PG&E and get signed up for CareFera.
And how
And
do
they
you
can
spell
even
that?
do that online. Care, CARE, and then FERA, FERA. They're acronyms, but
Okay,
CareFera.
cool.
PG&E
Thank you.
should know what you're talking about. Yes, we want people to apply for that and also get the SJ Cares discount, because the more we know that people in our community need it and are applying for it, the more we're able to put funds there. So
Thank
that's
you so
great.
much.
No problem. So again, SJ Cares, about 20% of our residents here are qualify for SJ Cares, and they're enrolled in that state discount program I just mentioned. It's automatic, and when combined with their overall rate discount, they save about 18% on PG&E's charges. So that means, everyone is saving about 8% on PG&E. SJ Cares is getting another 10%, and that's just on their electric generation charge, what we're responsible for. CareFera also gives them a discount on the PG&E portion of their bill. Again, I did already mention this, but the emergency bill relief, we're giving folks a credit of up to $1,600 to eliminate overdue balances, really avoid disconnection, and help people. And they'll also receive a smaller bill credit for the 3 months after that as well. So we're testing that out this spring. I want to make sure I'm saving time for your questions, so I'll go a little bit quickly here. Just we talked about kind of programs that we had, some programs we have coming up. We are working on a master plan to electrify San Jose city fleet. We're working on that off-peak charging that I talked about that midday charging, and offering a different rate to incentivize people to charge during the day. We've got a heat pump incentive. That's a big thing. I apologize. I am now blanking on what year it is, but you probably have heard that everyone will be required to upgrade once their heat pump, their water heater dies, they'll need to go to a heat pump and electrify that. So we're offering incentive to help folks get there. And then on-bill financing pilot, workforce development, we're really working with labor and trying to help make sure that we have folks qualified in clean energy as a career. Demand response expansion, that's that peak rewards I talked about, will go to hopefully residential this year. Solar access, we're just offering more spots for that. We're also hoping to help people get battery storage so that, those net generators, instead of just feeding it back to the grid, can we create some more microgrids there? And then emergency bill assistance. So really we're hoping to add another 12 million to our community programs over the next fiscal year. So we're really expanding in that way. Any questions there? Oh, okay, one last slide really quickly. How you can help. Please talk to your friends about clean energy. I didn't know that I had friends who were like upgrading their home systems to be able to charge their EVs at home. Like, it's just not something I had talked about. So I think the more we normalize the conversation about clean energy, the less we take, the more we take away the debate of it and just that it's happening, and we need to talk to each other. So please talk to your friends. Do like Lisa did, invite us to come talk to your community organization. Also, a really easy thing to do if you can afford it is to upgrade to Total Green. That's our 100% renewable rate. It's just going to help us get to that goal of being carbon neutral by 2030 faster. And really, it's only about $4 a month for the average residential customer. You can follow us on social at SJ Clean Energy on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. That's the best way to find out about all of our programs, and Facebook. When we have EV clinics, we really work with a lot of our partners to promote what they're doing. So it's a really great source for information. We also have a newsletter. Everyone should be getting our newsletter if you're a customer. But if you're not, you can also go to our website and opt in. And then please help us fight misinformation online. There's so many inaccurate next door posts that I get it. When I first saw San Jose clean energy, I thought it was an extra charge too, because of just the way it's on the PG&E bill. We are not an extra charge. We are replacing something PG&E would have had you pay. And you can see that actually at the very bottom of your bill, they credit back what they would have charged you, basically. So you can actually see what the difference in pay would have been. It's not a huge chunk of change. We try our best to make sure that we are more affordable, but we are also, very cognizant of being a reliable power source for a city of 1 million people and doing all of the incredible work our programs team is doing with our community. So with that, we have a few minutes, I think. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm curious about your outreach to condo associations, because I do live in a condominium association, and so we have limitations about what we can do, but I'm sure we can do things. I think our board is pretty good, but I'm wondering if maybe there's something there, since like our hot water heater is owned jointly by the board. Our washer dryers are provided by the contractor.
Yeah.
So it's generally a dual thing between homeowners and the board.
Yeah. I am happy to give you my email address, Rebecca. If you want to message me, I can, we can definitely talk to you about that. Okay. We're expanding our programs. And I think, clearly we care very much about equity and focusing on the communities that are kind of most vulnerable, but it's going to take everyone, especially in electrification, to really move that needle. Mm-hmm. So we're always looking for ideas and ways that we can reach, especially large groups of people, like in a condo. That's great. Mm-hmm. So really my email is just my name, MARIKA .KRAUSE at sanjoseca.gov.
Okay.
And if you email me,
go
ahead.
San Jose CA, all one, right? And then .gov.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I'll email you, and you can let me know if you've talked to our folks already, or if maybe we can connect them and have a discussion at a board meeting or something.
Yeah, we just had a really great conversation with Climate Reality Silicon Valley, and they did some really great outreach about heat pump water heaters. Sorry, I'm not up to speed on all of it, but and doing outreach in Palo Alto, and it just occurred we're going to start launching our own program for that soon. And I think talking about what we can do for condos and also renters. I myself am a renter. Mm-hmm. my landlord laughed in my face when I said, "Hey, could we also get some energy efficient windows around here?" So we're kind of on our own a little bit about that, but I feel like it never hurts to ask.
Well, I think
Yeah.
at least 50% of our complex is renters, and that actually adds another layer, right? So you have the owners, the
Yeah.
renters. And
Yeah.
it's built in the early 70s, so it's not really
Oh,
ready
yep.
for additional electric, like for
Yeah.
charging things. So, but
Yep.
yeah. And
Yeah,
just
no, we'd love to talk to you guys about, yep, go ahead.
sure. My final comment is, yeah, as I actually got my bill off from online and looked through it, I do see the credits back for the PG&E piece, and then the charges from clean energy. You've got your own page. It shows a total green. It shows a generation. So I think I'm signed up properly. And I think if you
Yay.
looking through your bill, you can see it pretty easily. It just took a few minutes to kind of, actually look at my bill. So
Yeah.
it's good.
We had some uphill battles for a lot of reasons, but I think one of the smart things in how the state set up CCAs is that automatic opt-in. Getting people to have to sign up on their own and then feel like, oh, I'm paying this extra charge, and it's like, no, it's not an extra charge, really helped. And we actually had the Lord Mayor of Dublin came and visited us a week ago to talk about their clean energy efforts.
Wow.
And they're a little bit behind, understandably. I think, we have the benefit of being in California where we have a lot of sun, but also just I think folks are pretty environmentally minded. Anyway, but they were talking about trying to get their program set up, and that was the one thing they were like, oh, how could we make that happen? Because having your community already just automatically invested in it helps.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, we did have customers who freaked out, opted out, said, I can't believe you're charging me extra. Even our customers was like, no, it's not extra. And we'll be doing some outreach to them. Once you opt out, there's a certain amount of years that you can opt till you can opt back in. And so we're going to reach out to them again to just let them know, hey, reminder, we are the most affordable electricity in San Jose. You may want to consider opting back in. So
Nice. It sounds good. Thank you for the presentation.
yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having me. Owen, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay. San Jose State's having a cool career fair. I don't know if you know, we'll be at it. I think it's March 26th, I heard.
Okay. I
Anyway,
actually attended one. Sorry, I attended one not too long ago, and there was an organization similar to your guys's, Rising Sun.
yeah, so we gave Rising Sun an award at our event this week. They are a really cool program. Owen, you probably could say a little bit, but they do workforce development. So they'll actually come and do a free, they train students and are really giving folks skills in kind of the green economy, and they do free energy audits for homes. So if you guys are looking for a way to like cut down on your energy, just get some tips, they send out young adults that they've trained to do energy audits. It's the Rising Sun Center for Opportunity. But and they're a great organization. They'll help you pay for school too, I think.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm
Yeah,
looking into
yeah.
doing a summer little job with them. But yeah, they basically do house calls, and they
Yep.
will go and change your shower heads, your power strips, LED lights, stuff like that.
Yep.
It's a cool organization. But I actually had a couple questions. I don't know
Sure.
if there will be answers for
Now's the
it.
time. Let's do it.
Roughly what percent of the world would need to implement some sort of clean, renewable energy like this to significantly affect the rate of global warming?
Oh man. Okay, you're gonna stump me. That's a great question. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, and I will tell you from my
I-
year here. Oh, do you know, Lisa?
Yes, Owen, I can speak to that. It's close to 100%.
Okay.
Because the other problem that we have with climate change is that there's a very large historical load of CO2 in the atmosphere. It amounts to about 1 trillion gigatons.
Wow.
And that's from, 2 centuries of using fossil fuels. And there are many companies that are starting to pull carbon dioxide directly out of the air and sequestering it permanently into things like construction materials or things like that. So it's a huge new industry. And if you follow the International Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, and the COP28, which is the Conference of the Parties, which is the most recent one, they say that fully 50% of the work that needs to be done to stop climate change has got to come about from sequestering carbon, from pulling carbon out of the atmosphere.
Mm.
Because the problem that we have is that we're starting to see cascading effects. You might have read about a gray whale that was seen in the Atlantic Ocean this week. And
Oh,
that
wow.
whale got there by going through the Arctic, which didn't used to be possible because, obviously they have to breathe. And they actually got all the way to the Atlantic from the Pacific because there was no ice during the summer. And we're going
Wow.
to see a lot of methane exposed as well, which is a climate warming gas that's about 80 times more impactful than CO2. So
Wow.
this is definitely the challenge of our time. And I'm so pleased to hear what America is talking about and all the incredible work they're doing. Hope that helps.
For sure. And then I kind of had a follow-up
you.
question. How realistic is it that we reach solutions in a time frame that is, I don't know, somewhat recent and before you can't do anything,
Well,
if that makes sense?
that's a hard question because it feels so pessimistic, but I mean, what choice do we have? Like, we have to keep
Yeah,
going, right? Anyway, Lisa, I don't know if you have a
you're
more in-depth
you're
answer to that.
seeing, well, the state of California wants to be carbon neutral by 2045. And so you're seeing a lot of things happen in the world. I I guess I'm an optimist. As much of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world right now with all these silly wars and things, which are not really silly, but they're obviously very important to the ones that are fighting them. Although I do support Ukraine. And I support Israel as well. But I'm just saying that I don't believe that humans are going to be dumb enough to cook themselves. And I believe that these new technologies that are emerging are going to solve the problem. Most people don't know that Terminal 1 at SFO, the new Harvey Milk Terminal, has been partially manufactured using concrete aggregate that was using carbon pulled out of the atmosphere. The company in Los Gatos called Blue Ocean that is supplying aggregate. What they do is they use the same process that's used by seashells to convert the carbon in the ocean into seashells, which is calcium carbonate, CaCO2. And they use that same process to make aggregate. And concrete is made of three things. It's made of cement, aggregate, and sand. And then, of course, add water. So things are happening. Things are really happening. And I really believe that if you're really interested, you can join the Climate Reality Project. I'm a member as well. And they do a lot of really good work and they have a lot of good educational things. And they're based right here in Silicon Valley and they were founded by Al Gore.
That was the Climate Reality what?
Climate Reality, yeah, .org.
Org.
Yep.
I would also check out Solve for Earth at the Tech Interactive. They featured Blue Ocean
Oh,
in
cool.
their exhibit. Yeah, and I believe they honored them. They have a Tech Awards. Now it's I'm blanking. The program's a different name now.
Yeah, yeah.
But they honor different people using innovation and technology for good and for the good of the planet. Tech for global good, that's what it's called. But they feature lots of different, they even have tons of videos online, ones about Blue Ocean, and just lots of different really cool ways. There's like plastic eating bacteria that are helping clear up our ocean. Just lots of different ways that technology is really giving us hope about how we can turn back the clock on some of this. And I'll also add, Owen, that your generation gives me hope. I don't think it should all be on you, but you're done. For the most part, I've found that when I talk to young folks, like the people we talk to with Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action and even Rising Sun, like it's no longer a debate that climate change is happening, which I feel like we wasted a long time
Yeah.
with that, at least when I was in TV news. And we're really, we're just seeing the effects of it. How many atmospheric rivers did we just have in a row?
Yeah.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like the extreme weather. It's not like people have to start paying attention to it. The snow in Texas that the homes weren't built for, that, people really literally froze to death, which is so sad. We have to start that climate resiliency talk and turning
Yes.
back the clock. So
And also, people don't realize that a lot of the immigration is being driven by climate change. A lot of the immigration that happened in Syria was because there was a drought that caused crop failures in the Middle East. And you're going to see a lot more. I mean, this affects the entire planet. People are going to want to go places that are colder. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
yeah, go for it.
What what is the main hurdle in, like, what's stopping the world from completely going green, like green energy?
I
Is
bet
it
everyone's
like
got an opinion on that.
stubborn
Money.
lawmakers,
Money.
business, like CEOs?
Hmm.
Okay, so my answer is money. So the oil companies are sitting on $500 trillion of reserves. $500 trillion of reserves. And they want to burn all of that. They want to burn it. They don't care. They want to them, it's the company. So it's really
You're
money
saying they have $500 trillion worth
of
of oil
worth of oil in the ground
that they know of.
that they know of in the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. I might be off on
I
the,
mean, I'll add,
go ahead.
I'll also add, I think I heard a really great talk by an artist with SV Reads. Their theme this year is climate change or the environment. And I went to their kickoff that was excellent. And they had some authors there, but there was a really great talk by an artist. I'm blanking on her name, but she also talked about like spheres of influence and, cultural relevance and being able to talk about climate change in a way that relates to people and isn't like the data's there, but the average, person who's trying to get their 3 kids off to school and get themselves to work and, also hear all the horrible news out of, Gaza and Ukraine. And like Lisa just mentioned, do they have time to think about it in their everyday life? Like how can we make these things convenient and relevant to people? That I really think that science communicator piece is important, not just in a like nerdy fun way, because I also like nerdy fun, but in a way that's relevant to folks and makes sustainable acts approachable and not punishing. One of the other authors from SV Reads, and I should find the book. She worked for the Gore administration, and she has a whole book that's kind of about being a climate activist, like meeting you where you are with what time you have and your skill set and what you can do to make a change. And it's a green cover, but I'm blanking on what it's called. But I think that that's a really good piece. And then also the artist had mentioned too, thinking about our economy, not from an extraction environment where we're taking from like oil and tearing down trees. And that, especially if we start listening to Indigenous and people of color communities that have valued environment and nature in the past, that if we put more value there, that we can help overcome some of these things as well. and just empower those communities to have more of a voice over oil and profit and that piece as well. And I heard one thing she mentioned that's cool too is the EPA is teaming up with artists to develop some branding and some communication, kind of like those really cool. And I don't know if you guys have seen the national parks posters that are just kind of hip and fun, and their social media is also hilarious, but really teaming up with actual artists to get some work out there and really influence people in that way. One cool project I'm very proud of that we just did, there's an organization in San Jose called Local Color. So we invested in asking an artist to create a piece for us that said, "You've got great energy, San Jose." And so we've made some stickers, and it's not like San Jose Clean Energy, you were saving you X%. Like it's not a direct marketing, more of just a like, "Hey, you've got great energy," like that sort of influence kind of underground a little bit that just makes sustainability approachable. So you guys might see that logo around pretty soon.
Thank you.
So that was a lot, sorry.
Oh, that was great.
Well, Merica, you just did a fantastic job. We have someone named Ed that just joined us.
Hi, Ed.
Anyway, Ed, we're towards the end of our talk. Did you want to make a comment? All right. Well, Merica, thank you so much. It's been a fascinating conversation. Oh, he's having trouble with microphone. Oh, okay. Hold on a minute.
I'm gonna drop the SV Reads
Yep.
books in here. Okay, the book was called One Green Thing. That's the one by the Al Gore author. Her name is Heather White. And then the artist that I was talking about was featured in the book All We Can Save: Truth, Courage, and Solutions for the Climate Crisis. That is a book of, I believe, primarily women, just short stories. So an easy read potentially to dive into, but let me,
Good.
where's the chat? There we go. I'll drop that link here. And we sponsored SV Reads this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super. All right. Well, Ed is excellent. SiliconValleyReads.org. More handy stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Well, very good. Merica, thank you so much. And Rebecca and Owen and Sean, thank you so much for all the great questions. And Ed, sorry you couldn't join us earlier.
Ed can check out the video, which will be posted soon on our YouTube channel. I just posted the link. So Ed, you can catch up with us there.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
Guys. Have a great
Thank
night.
you. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
I'll check out the hikes.
Yeah, please do.
Thanks,
Woohoo. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Bye-bye.